Hello, hello, hello. Happy hump day to everyone. I'm really excited about trying out this new format here on a live. I had this idea, I don't know, last year of having conversations, just real, private, like all out, honest conversations with real people about their boundaries journeys and about their questions related to boundaries and so on and so forth. And hello, Cobalt. And I decided to record these. And I knew that I wanted to share these stories with others. And so that's what we're going to do today is we are going to take this story, these boundaries concerns that this person had, and we're going to share them and we are going to talk about them. And we're going to see how this goes because so far I've only done these not live, like at home in my studio all by myself without y'all. But I really love going live and interacting with you and getting your questions and comments and thoughts and so on and so forth. So we're going to try it this way today. So the way this is going to work is in a few moments, I will start the video, which is actually a static picture with audio of the first part of the conversation, laying out the boundary. And then I will come back on and reply and start the conversation with you. So if you're here, please say hello, give a wave in the chat. Let me know that you're watching. I will be in the chat with y'all while the audio plays, and then I will come back on screen. So here we go. Let's see.
Okay with her going and having sex with somebody else. I'm okay with her having other partners. I'm even okay with, a group of friends getting together who all know each other and having group sex and stuff like that. But when it's just the random, anonymous, possibly bareback kind of thing, I just don't feel confident about, saying to her, I can't deal with this level of risk, and therefore I don't think we can see each other anymore. So that I feel like that's a boundary of mine, and I need to protect my other partners, and my other partners, I generally pick partners who are have a pretty limited circle of kink partners. I fully understand that there's, I can't control everybody's other partners. I know that it's possible that a partner of a partner of a partner is a swinger, and that's gonna create problems. But I have one partner who's monogamous with me because she chooses to be so. I have another partner who she only sees me and her husband is monogamous. So the only wild card is this one partner who, has this very swingy boyfriend. So I'm just not sure how to handle it.
Okay. So my reply to something like this is, all of these feelings, all of these concerns are valid, just so you know. I mean, they could simply say, I no longer want to have sex with you. And that would be totally valid. You don't even have to give a reason for things like that. And your personal risk profile is an incredibly concrete and valid reason for saying if we continue to have a relationship, I will require that we use protection at all times. Something as simple as that. And it has nothing to do with, how I see you as a person, right? I adore you. I don't mind that you do this. I don't mind that your other partner does that. It's my risk profile. You can say, I have 2 other women that I'm having playtime with, possibly more in the future, and my risk profile is closed enough because I want to protect them as well as myself, right? So saying we're always going to use protection for everything is a great way to start things. Something, though, to keep in mind is that protection doesn't protect you from everything, right? It doesn't matter whether you're wearing a condom or not if somebody has an outbreak of syphilis, or it doesn't matter if you're wearing a condom or not if somebody has an outbreak of chlamydia. Now, that said, these things are easily caught and cleared out with a round of antibiotics if you are testing regularly. But it's valid to say you don't want to take that risk because you never know if the protection is actually going to work. And sometimes condoms break, things just happen. Knowing your risk profile is the key, and then communicating it in such a way that you're not saying, I'm judging you, right? Simply saying, this is out of my risk profile. Similar to getting into a car, and if you decided to drive 150 miles per hour down a busy highway, that would be outside of my risk profile. I would still like you just as much. I would still want to spend time with you. I just wouldn't be in a car with you like that, right? So the second part of this.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we engage in some pretty high risk stuff as far as, I beat her ass with a needle paddle, so there's blood play.
So blood
involved.
play. Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of fluids going on, and anal play, all that kind of stuff.
So, and that's another thing, one of the things that I think it's really important to keep in mind is that anal play is actually the easiest way for somebody to contract an STI and all of the basic vanilla sex type of stuff, because it's the easiest way to get direct to blood through micro tears in the rectum. So that's something to consider. If your partner is then engaging in anal play with other partners, especially if there's no protection, and as your boundary, right, that would be absolutely valid. Saying this risk profile just does not fit me is 100% you're right. Cobalt says that aspect of boundaries being changes we make to our own behavior, not their behavior, is so crucial. Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing where I say, like, I don't ever suggest that somebody says, if you do this, then I will do that. Because that is taking your power, your autonomy to make decisions and putting it in somebody else's hands. And then you're left wondering, what are they going to do before you can make your own decisions, right? You have trapped yourself. Not to say that you can't break that trap, but mentally, this is what we do. So simply saying, the way things stand right now is outside of my risk profile. I'm going to make these choices for myself. Because if you do this, then that starts this whole back and forth, give and take, push and pull, power over the dynamic. You're essentially saying, I'm going to give you the steps to keep this or to argue with me, right? Versus simply saying, this isn't going to work for me the way it is. If we continue, here are the restrictions I'm putting on things for my risk profile, right? And the key here is, you not even bringing your partner's partner into it. Because whether your partner's partner is raw dogging it or whatever doesn't matter right now. What matters is what I know about you as my partner and the way you and your partners have sex is outside of my risk profile. There needs to be, nothing more said. And if that's how you say it, these are the things I'm willing to continue doing with you, and these are the things that are currently off the table entirely, then your partner has the opportunity to opt in and say, okay, I would like to continue doing this and this and this with you. Or to opt out and say, one of those things it's none of these things are going to really work for me. I want a relationship exactly as it is or nothing. And that's fine, right? Like, none of that is slut shaming. And if it's taken as slut shaming, there's not a whole lot you can do about it, but it is not slut shaming to say, these are the things I'm willing to do in whatever relationship we have. Here are the things I'm not willing to do in whatever relationship we have, right? That's your right. Regardless of, you can take swinging and risk profile out of the picture. You can just pretend that doesn't even exist. And the only thing you are willing to do in this relationship are these 19 things right here. And you lay those out as part of the negotiation. And all of those other things and why you don't want to do them don't really matter, because you have a right to say, these are the things I consent to now. At this point, these other things are off the table for whatever reason. It doesn't matter whether it's because she or they are outside your risk profile. It doesn't matter whether it's because one of your partners may have somehow transmitted something to you and you don't want to put them at risk. It doesn't matter if you have found out that, you are immunosuppressed and you need to be more careful with things. It doesn't matter if you hurt your elbow. What matters is, this is what I'm willing to do with you right now. Can we find the sweet spot together? Right? And for those of you who don't know, here, the sweet spot, the Venn diagram, 2 overlapping circles. This is what I want. This is what they want. Everything that you both want, go into the sweet spot, right? And if you can't find things that you both want, there's no relationship. You don't have a sweet spot, right? It's that simple. You and your feelings, your beliefs, your boundaries are 100% valid, period, end of story. And you can set your boundaries with someone else without having to get into the details of why. And you certainly don't have to get into the details of, because I saw on your, adult hookups profile that your partner is, going to gangbangs every night and, having bareback sex. Like, you don't have to say things like that, right? You can just say, I'm taking these things off the table right now for our relationship. I'm leaving these things on. Maybe I'm putting in some of these other things that I've been thinking about. And let's negotiate and see where what you want and what I want overlap, right? And if they press for a why, now remember, you don't owe anybody a why, right? But sometimes in relationships, we feel like maybe offering a reason would help. a bit, right? Like smooth things over a bit. If they ask for why are you taking these off the table? Why do we have to use protection from here on in? Then I'm sorry, but right now, these things I'm taking off the table are outside of my risk profile. I've got my reasons. I hope that you will honor them. And if that means that we don't have a relationship, we don't have a sweet spot anymore, I understand. But again, you are stating what is important for you without giving the language that says, I judge you. You are wrong. You are bad. You or your partner are doing these things that I don't like, right? Michael says, I'd feel like I'm obligated to give a why. So, interesting fact, we have been socialized when it comes to boundaries to accept people questioning the boundaries that we set, right? So, like they say in that little boundaries video about consent video about tea. Hey, I'm about to make myself some tea. Would you like some tea? No, thank you. Okay, right? Simple. For whatever reason, they can say no thank you to tea, and we're like, fine, they don't want tea. That's super easy, right? But if I say, even if I had tea yesterday, right? Even if I had tea for the past 3 nights or 12 nights or 3 years in a row, I don't want tea anymore, right? But if I say, I am not comfortable continuing to have this relationship without protection, all of a sudden people have to know why. And I get it, right? Like, it's scary to feel like things are changing and you don't have any control over it. So the question that immediately pops out of your mouth is, why? Why? But really, when it comes right down to it, the best way that we can honor each other's boundaries is simply to say, okay, thank you for setting your boundaries. I appreciate that. Or, okay, thank you for letting me know. Right? Now, Michael, I'm not saying don't give a why. Like, I'm saying that the reasons behind why we often explain ourselves are because we are socialized to give people a lot more than we're actually obligated to give them. And we're socialized that way by the people who push on our boundaries. Cobalt says, and we're all prone to feel like we should. Exactly. So that's what we got. Do we have any questions? Are there any challenges that you faced about, maybe coming across as a little slut-shamey, or have you had experiences where you felt that people were slut-shamey to you when they could have just said something else? For those of you that are here in the live chat, pop those in the chat. For anyone watching the replay, don't hesitate to pop that in the comments below. I am happy to answer and or make another video talking about it. And yeah. So for those of you who don't know, this is one small bit of the project I've been working on called Take No Shit. And Take No Shit is a book, a workshop, and I also offer one-on-one private coaching. And you can get the first, now these are pre-edited, but the first 100 pages of sample chapters at my.curiouser.life if you would like to see what the book is all about and or check out the workshop or whatever. Celine, absolutely. Celine says shoulding at people is gross. It's funny. I was actually on a podcast the other day where somebody was talking about, they asked me, what boundaries should we have? And I'm like, ooh, I don't really like to use the word should. And they're like, oh, yeah, I've heard all about the should shed. I was like, I had not heard the should shed, but shoulding at people is gross. Shoulding all over people is gross. Shoulding all over yourself is gross. Cobalt says, recently had a date that started out nice, but I got worn out and the guy had already had a second go before I'd gotten rested. Then when I said, okay, we have to stop, you're hurting me. There's a continuation coming. I can begin to guess where I think that this is going, actually. Yeah. So yeah, this content is a direct result of one of the boundaries interviews that I have had over the past year or so, talking with people in various stages of their boundaries journey. And I'll be bringing more live boundaries conversations to you via this method. So if you like it, do hit the thumbs up, do leave me a comment, and subscribe so that you know not only when I'm going live, but then you can also get notified that there is a replay available for you to watch. Cobalt says, and then he tried to grab my hand to get more from me and whined, you just don't understand. I'm still hard. What would Nookie do? That is a really poignant discussion because, again, many of us are socialized from a young age not to harm somebody, right? Not to let somebody be harmed by our inactions. But, I'd be like, dude, give me back my hand. You've got two of your own. I don't need to be here to take care of that for you. Sabi SAB, is there some difference between slut shaming and mansplaining? Oh, yes. Very big difference between slut shaming and mansplaining. Slut shaming comes from literally anyone. Anyone can be negatively judgy about people and, their sexuality. Whereas mansplaining, which honestly, I do not love that as a word, but mansplaining is often when a man or masculine explains to a woman or femme in a pejorative or dismissive manner things that she already knows herself. Like, so explaining to me, for example, what it means to be a non-monogamous woman and telling me that, slut shaming is not as rampant as I think it is, and why, when you are literally trying to override and invalidate my lived experiences, that would be more along the line of mansplaining. So, yeah, that was a fun one to get in there at the end. Okay, thank you all. I just wanted to try this out today. Let me know in the comments if you like it. Give me a thumbs up. Like I said, you can find out more about Take No Shit and the work I'm doing at my.curiouser.life, the book, the app, the workshop, and the one-on-one coaching. Thank you so much and have an amazing day, y'all.